being here and attending. I know that we are running today trying to accomplish several meetings at one time. The agenda, as you will see, is a little bit lengthy, but if you will work with me, I will do this as efficiently as possible. So to get started, what I would like to do, if there's no objection, the first 10 items on your agenda are memorial highway bills. I'd like to take those up in blocks. Do I have a motion to take those up in block? All in favor? Anybody wants to set one aside? Okay. Let me move on and explain each one of those individually, and then we'll yield for questions if anybody has a question about one. House Bill 74 is to designate a segment in Noxubee County as the Chief Petty Officer Andrew Triplett Memorial Highway. House Bill 75 is to designate a segment of US Highway 45 in Macon as the Sergeant Travis S. Cooper Memorial Highway. House Bill 120 is to designate a segment in Shannon, Lee County as the Johnny R. Patterson Memorial Highway. House Bill 619 is to designate a segment of Highway 15 in Jasper County as the Major Samuel S. Coach King Memorial Highway. House Bill 823 is a memorial bridge in Marshall County, and that is to name this bridge on Highway 309 as the Hubert Ingram Memorial Bridge. House Bill 1216 is to designate a segment in Marion County as the Sheriff J.V. Polk Memorial Highway. House Bill 1287 is to designate a segment of Mississippi Highway 30, in Prentiss County is the Jamie Neal Ginn PCEPA Lineman Memorial Highway. House Bill 1288 actually is a clarification. These are memorial highways that we brought forward a year or two ago. It's to add designations to certain titles to reflect U.S. service members' actual status. So there are 3 service members that we are just correcting their title in that bill. House Bill 1463 is a memorial highway in Copiah County to name the Carroll V. Hood Memorial Highway, actually to specify the parameters and the location of that highway. House Bill 1681 does several things here. Let me flip over. It does 5 different things. Highway 513 in Clark County is the Lance Corporal Matt Camberg Highway. Highway 15 in South Tippah County, the Major General Al Hopkins Highway. Highway 72 in Marshall County as the Eddie Dixon Highway. Highway 7 also in Marshall County is the Juanita Thomas Highway, and a portion of I-69 in DeSoto County as the Mason Wilbanks Highway. That is the explanation of the first 10 items on the agenda. Are there any questions on these? Yes, sir. Senator Bryan.
I have a question about House Bill 120. I believe that I got inaccurate information on the Senate bill when we shortened the length of it. Do you know if the language before us has the correct language or not? And if it doesn't, I'll try to get the correct stretch of road by the time we get to the floor.
Thank you for asking that, Senator Bryan. And we double check the length of the highway because we're trying to be as consistent as possible. My understanding is the language in this House bill mirrors the amendment that we made to the Senate bill that you had over here. We will double check before we bring that off the calendar just to be sure that we are correct on that. That's my understanding.
I'm told that the language in our Senate bill is incorrect because I got the wrong information from Shannon about what stretch of road. Anyway, before this comes up on the floor, I'll.
Thank you. Allison and I will check on that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
And also, I'm pretty sure this is an amendment and not a committee sub.
Thank you, Senator Bryan. All right, any other questions on the block? Do I have a motion?
To pass.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That will be reported. All right, the next item on the agenda is House Bill 349, and I will recognize Senator Barrett to explain this bill, which is a companion bill, by the way.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Yeah, so what this is a strike all wherein we replaced the House language with the Senate language, which passed out of our body. Again, a squat, what this would do is prohibit driving of a squatted vehicle on the public roadways. This would provide for offenses for first, second, third offense. And obviously this, just like our previous explanation, this would go into effect after July 1st, 2024. Madam Chairwoman, I am also working with Senator Delano. He is concerned about scraping the coast and other events over the state. And we are working together to address all those issues. And I think the bill, once it hits the floor, I think on final passage, it will benefit the entire state. But I will yield for questions.
Thank you, Senator Barrett. I'd like to recognize Senator Delano and sort of echo those sentiments. We are continuing to work on this bill to address some concerns that Senator Delano has. So I'm happy to continue working with you on that, but you're recognized for a question.
Thank you. Question of the chair real quick. Are we going to take up just the House bill and not do the strike all? Or are we going to actually put the Senate language as a strike all in this bill?
May I
I'll
respond
defer to
that?
Senator Barrett because I have let him
Yeah.
take the lead on that part.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is the Senate bill. This is the language from the Senate bill.
Be positive.
Well, it doesn't reflect that. This is not the entire House bill, and this is not the entire Senate bill. So
Let me jump in right here. I think we may have a little confusion. What you're looking at is in fact the House bill, but what our intention is before this hits the
It makes-
floor is to
yeah.
start with the Senate language. We have held off on the strike all because I know that you need some more work on that. So when this comes before the entire body, we'll have an explanation that firms up some of the detailed changes that we have that will include the Senate language that you have seen before.
yes.
Yes, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say thank you for allowing us to work on this. And members of the committee, there's an issue where we've got people from all over the southeast that come to South Mississippi. Some of them trailer trucks that would be in violation of this, of what we're trying to do here to protect or to enhance public safety. Some of them actually drive these vehicles into the area, and we're trying to come up with a fair way for us to not discourage people for coming in here. And at the same time, I do not want my local jurisdictions just to start writing tickets immediately for these violations without when a lot of these people again are from outside of the state. So would like to say thank you, Madam Chair, for working with me on this, and certainly Senator Barnett for working with me on this as well. Thank you. Barrett, I did it again.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Other questions on the bill? Do I have a motion?
Sufficient do pass.
All in favor? Any opposed? That bill will be reported. Thank you, Senator Barrett. All right, next on the agenda, House Bill 697, the Mississippi Aviation Safety Act. I will recognize Senator Rhodes to explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you hear me? Is that working? House Bill 697 is the Mississippi Aviation Safety Act. This bill just works to ensure that there's public notice of announced stage one towers that are dangerous primarily to ag aviators, which crop dusters, and outside of FAA's jurisdiction to their lower heights, anything between 50 and 200 feet. Currently, these towers are being constructed in the Delta, primarily the state's main agricultural area where hundreds, if not thousands of flights take place during farming season every year. Most of these towers are unmarked and they're very thin, and it makes them very difficult to see while flying, especially if they're going towards the sun. The FAA jurisdiction begins at 200 feet in height, and anything above that is not of concern to the Mississippi Ag Aviation. But nearly all stage one towers are coincidentally 198 feet tall, so there's no regulation there. Just want to be sure everybody knows that this does not cost the wind farm companies any money. And this bill would all it would do is require there be electronic notifications sent to the Mississippi Ag Aviation Association. So there would be a database for the ag pilots to check. And that's the explanation of the bill, if there's any questions.
Okay, and I actually met with the Aviation Association over the summer and could see the need for the bill. I think it's a good bill. Are there any questions for Central Roads? Senator Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Senator Rhodes. I think you may have answered it. Where did this bill come from and why?
So the Ag Aviation Association of our state felt the need, really for safety purposes when they are working in more of the rural communities of our state, a lot in the Delta.
Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
not having the notice of where these towers are erected and located, certainly below the 200-foot mark, you know, there's no regulation because that's where the federal airspace begins. So we just want those pilots to be able to have notice of where these towers may be erected.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Do I have a motion?
Title
Title sufficient
do
to pass.
All in favor? Are there any opposed? That bill will be reported. Next on the agenda, we're going to move to House Bill 751. This is a companion bill. All this does is extend the repealer of the voluntary inspection program to 2028. This was requested by the Department of Public Safety. Any questions on this? You'll have a motion.
Title sufficient to pass.
All in favor? Any opposed? That will also be reported. Okay, the next bill is going to be House Bill 940. This is a companion bill to Senate Bill 2645 that passed the Senate 52 to nothing. But I will go back through this briefly, really just to remind you, this is requested by the Department of Transportation. The purpose of this bill is just to provide alternative contracting methods for MDOT so that they can deliver their projects sooner by mitigating risk on the front end. It gives them a little flexibility in the way they contract their jobs. The changes that you will see, one on line 26 that deals with publication, the other on line 167 is where the language starts with the revised design build for alternative delivery. And I'm happy to entertain questions on this bill. If there are no questions, do I have a motion?
Title sufficient to pass.
All in favor? Any opposition? That bill will be reported. And the last bill that we will take up today is House Bill 1622. This is also a companion bill. This was Senate Bill 2635 that we entertained over here. It passed the Senate 51-1, but it's commonly referred to as the towing bill. So the bill that you've got before you is a strike all. And what we did is we took the Senate language and we continued to work on it just a little bit. Both of the agencies have been involved, or both of the industry leaders, being the Trucking Association and the Towing Association. This is their work product. So I'm happy that they actually got together, they communicated, they came up with a product that they think would serve both industries very well. And just to briefly go through the purpose of the bill is just to establish an advisory council that oversees the towing industry and to sort of establish some operating standards to alleviate predatory towing. Now, the couple of changes that you will see from the Senate version that you've already looked at to this version, we took out the reverse repealer because we feel like this is should be our final product. And we added a 5-year repealer at the request of DPS. The Department of Public Safety and actually CTED is going to oversee the advisory council. They wanted the opportunity for us to look at this in about 5 years as we have had opportunity to allow the program to work a little bit. We altered the composition of the advisory council just a little bit. There are 7 members that will be serving. There's equal representation by the Trucking Association and by the Towing Association, each having 2 members. The Department of Public Safety has a member as well, the Highway Patrol, and then there is an appointment by the governor. Other than that, we made some grammatical corrections. There was a code section reference that was not right that we corrected and some things like that. But at this point, I am happy to yield for questions. Any questions? All right, is there a motion?
Title sufficient to pass.
All in favor? Committee sub, I'm sorry, the motion is title sufficient to pass committee sub. Thank you, Allison. All in favor? Any opposition? All right, that bill will be reported. Is there a final motion?
Rise and rapport.
Thank you very much.